Well, hello. I am joining you today to chat about something that I'm noticing is really a big piece of what challenges people and makes them feel stuck in their business, in their relationships, and in their life. What I refer to as being enmeshed, over identifying with something that is just not you. It's something that you are doing, it's not who you are. So that you are not your business. So often you see marketing gurus, especially speaking to my ideal client, who is that expertpreneur, that person who is in the service industry, and they need to step into their expertise. They deliver some wisdom, some advice, some consulting, whether they're a designer, financial planner, a naturopath or healer or coach or consultant. They're receiving this advice that they need to recognize you are your business. And it's just not true. When you're out in public, yes, people think about you and connect you to your business, and that's something to be aware of so that you know not to get into controversial discussions around people who may be your potential client. And that's just good sense. But when you start to believe that you are something that you do, your value, your worth can get enmeshed in it. And it can put you in a place of fear and anxiety because you start thinking that when something goes wrong in your business, it's going wrong in you. And again, you may notice that I do a lot of work with people to get rid of their childhood baggage. If you have not cleared that baggage, a failure becomes who you are instead of what has happened. The more enmeshed you are in your business, those business failures can become something that you're afraid of. And as entrepreneurs, we need to be willing to fail fast and fail forward, learn from what doesn't work so that we can discover where our excellence is, what does work, and what we want to refine and work on further. All of learning is finding failures and learning from them, finding something that you didn't know how to do, and discovering how to do it. If you've ever had a plumber come to your house and diagnose a problem and then tell you, oh, I don't have the part with me, I'll have to go grab it, you'll notice that they don't beat themselves up about this. The work that they do on your plumbing is very separate from who they are. The way that their van is stocked is very separate from who they are. And yet, as experts who are here to advise, sometimes we hold ourselves to this weird standard of if I didn't have the right tool today, I have failed. Instead of having that open curiosity and willingness to play, partner, and work together. If you see that showing up in yourself, where you start judging yourself when things don't go right the first time, you can kind of dial that back and say, what am I telling myself? And underneath all of this enmeshment can become this place of worth, this place of deserving, and this place of being enough. So you are not your business is one of the you are nots. You need to be able to say, who am I and where am I growing? Who am I becoming as I create this business? And who do I want to become as I create this business? In order to set a solid 3-year vision, this is what can get in the way. If you feel like you are your business, if you are in a place where you over-identify with aspects of yourself, it can be hard to even imagine what your business could be like in 3 years. It can feel like magical wishful thinking to try to set a 3-year vision that is powerful. So having separate roles, it's like a Venn diagram, right? Your business and you overlap. Taking that Venn diagram and writing into it identity pieces separate from business pieces. What you do from who you're being can really help you start to separate and pull this apart and give yourself some breathing space. Get unstuck from your business. You are also not your emotions. You're not your thoughts. You're not even your beliefs and your values. Your values are certainly core to who you are, but they even evolve over time. Benjamin Hardy wrote a great book called Personality Isn't Permanent. And it's a wonderful starting place if you find yourself over identifying with emotions or personality pieces. It's fun to do a personality test, and it's only a snapshot in time. Sometimes it's only a snapshot of how you're feeling today in this moment as you do the personality test. Our personality changes from day to day, from room to room. We bring out different strengths. We toggle on certain strengths. Sometimes we get triggered into weaknesses, and we can take a weakness and examine it and flip it into a strength. So deciding that your personality is who you are is also going to get you into that place of being stuck, of self-judgment, and feeling restricted. And it's kind of ironic because I do a lot of work in setting boundaries, but I also do a lot of work in freeing up artificial boundaries that you used to think were true. So believing that you're an introvert and that means. Those 3 words, "and that means," are some of the most devastating words that you can do to yourself unless you deliberately catch yourself and turn it into something wonderful, right? That means the day is open to me and all the possibilities are there. But usually, as humans, we tell ourselves things, "I'm an introvert, and that means I can't do public speaking, I can't do sales, I'm not naturally good at small talk." You can hear the restriction in that, and it's not what that means. In fact, introverts are actually some of the greatest public speakers, greatest actors, greatest performers. Being an introvert is not about being socially anxious or shy. That has nothing to do with introversion. Introverts are also some of the greatest listeners. We tend to have a little bit more empathy and connect with other people at their needs, not just ours. So we're more open to creating collaborative, consultative sales conversations with people because we know it's not all about us. It's about the relationship. Extroverts can sometimes get into pumped up high performance mode that can get in the way of their sales results. So telling yourself, "I'm an introvert, and that means," you might want to write this down. It's actually a great journal prompt for this week to notice some of the things that you have identified with. "I'm a hypnotist, and that means," "I'm an introvert, and that means," and just write out all the possibilities. Take a timer, set it for 10 minutes, and for each statement that you started with "I am," write out all the "and that means" that are underneath in your unconscious mind to discover how you're behaving, to discover what it is you're really telling yourself that you are boundaried by, those artificial boundaries. Any sentence that starts with "I am" that you find yourself saying or living, your unconscious mind will look for proof that it is true and filter out any proof that it isn't true. And so that over-identification with your business is going to show up as an "I am" statement. I am a hypnotist. I do hypnosis. Sometimes with clients, I don't do any hypnosis, if you can believe that all conversation isn't hypnosis. That's a whole other conversation that we can have. Um, Saying I am a business coach. Again, it's restrictive. And as soon as I say I do business coaching, you can see that there are other questions that come up. When, with who, in what circumstance, under what criteria, for what purpose? Saying I am a business coach is a frozen moment in time, and it's an identity piece. I may not do business coaching 3 years from now. I'll still be helping people hear the lies they're telling themselves, get rid of baggage, step into that bold and brilliant essence that they were born into this world with and unlock their potential. At that point, I might be doing speaking. I might be doing workshops. Right? The I am piece, I really guard to make sure that it is genuine, that it is bold and brilliant and beautiful and inspiring, and it fills my heart. And there are very specific things that I let put in that I am place. I am love. Absolutely. That's a wonderful open place to be. I am an entrepreneur. Not so much. It's restrictive. While I am doing entrepreneurship right now, that's okay. That's not restrictive. It lets me step fully into that behavior, that role, without becoming it. Can you hear the difference in that? Being able to look at all those I am statements is going to mean finding those places where you also say, I am divorced. I am anxious. I am afraid. I am doubtful. As soon as we hear those, right, write them down, and that means, and then notice after doing that exercise how you can change any of those statements to take the am out. So anxiety is here. I feel anxious in this moment. As soon as you say, I am anxious, your body is looking for reasons to be anxious. And that's not really a great place to be. What we say, the words that we create our reality with, are massively powerful. Massive power to those words, because as we speak, we create our reality, even if we're just saying it inside of our own heads. It's why taking an affirmation can be very powerful. Taking an affirmation and putting it into your day, if it is there to reprogram an old over-identification piece, you can look at that and say, what's the opposite? What if the opposite is true? And write that as a statement of empowerment. And then say those statements in the shower, look in the mirror and say them. I can manage any emotion that shows up in my day. I've got this. Instead of saying, I am anxious. I am fearful. Those places where we hold ourselves back and we tie ourselves down are also rife with opportunity to reprogram, because everything that we think and feel determines how we naturally behave. If there are some behaviors you'd like to do that are more bold, more brilliant, finding those places where you have over-identified and loosening them up, freeing them up, will instantly transform how you're able to show up. It's why what I do with my clients is rapid results coaching. We take a lie and we reprogram it into a truth, and the transformation is instant. We'll do some additional tasking to build the neurology on that over the next 7 days, and then it becomes the new way of being. It loosens up that old identity piece and opens up ways of behaving. Now, what have I got here? I've got a couple of notes on things that I want to make sure I cover. You're also not your current abilities. If you've ever looked at Carol Dweck's mindset book, she talks about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And a growth mindset recognizes that we can change and learn. So your current abilities in your business, if you're a mortgage broker or a financial planner, you can say, what abilities do I want to have in 3 years and how do I create them? You can find a mentor. You can reach out to clients and say, existing clients, and say, hey, I want to learn how to do this new thing. Do you want to be a guinea pig? Right? You are not locked in at your current state of abilities. You are not your success or your failure. Right? Separating those out. Failure is an event. It's not a person. So is success. And when you say, I'll be happy when I reach this level of success, you can hear that you are enmeshed in that you're trying to prove your own worth. I can't be happy until I'm worthy. So that I'll be happy when I have this car. I'll be happy when I have this house. I'll be happy when I'm making $250,000 a year in my business. All of those are evidence of being enmeshed in that goal. And they rob you of being alive in the moment. They rob you of being happy and loving yourself right now. And for those of you who know my story, I'm 52 years old. I was 45 when I started on this path to discovering my authentic self. And you know what? I love me and I have joy every day. I'm going through some challenging family issues this year, and yet every day I love me. I have joy. I can hold in my heart and my mind two opposing situations, the bigger picture situation of who I am and who I'm becoming, and the smaller situation of what challenges I'm facing. This helps me know that I can handle it. I don't get stuck in the problem. Um, there in shame work, they talk about losing the ability to pendulate, the ability to go back and forth and explore different ideas, to be devastated and then notice you're hungry, to be stressed and then notice you're kind of sleepy. That ability to move from thought to thought can get locked in when you get enmeshed in anxiety, when you can get enmeshed in failure or unworthiness. You lose the ability to be distracted, to have flexible thinking. When you transcend all that, or as we hypnotists like to say, when you transcend those lies, you are able to then start to deliberately, easily, and intentionally step into worthy, into knowing you are enough. No external identity is ever going to create worthy and enough. No business success, no money is going to have you step into worthy and enough. It's when we identify the solution inappropriately that we get locked into that place of stuck, that place of restriction. Recognizing you're already enough and already worthy allows you to separate out, what is my business? What do I do? Where am I growing to? What identity would I like to grow into to create the business of my dreams? If you need some help with this, I'll be putting the little worksheet when this goes up as a podcast. You'll find the worksheet on how do I identify where I'm enmeshed or where I'm over identifying? How do I deprogram it myself? And then how do I put in place the opposite, the other side of the coin that allows me to step back into bold and brilliant? You can create that yourself from this. Of course, I've already described it. And of course, the worksheet will be there and a few other little tips and ideas to help you step out of those identities that are not working for you and step into your authentic self. I really appreciate you listening today, and I'd love to hear your feedback if this has helped you or if it's challenged you and you just want to run something past me. You'll notice that in my contact page at mindfulentrepreneur.ca, there's a place to do a quick chat. Feel free to reach out and do that with any questions you find from my lives or my podcast. They tend to be one and the same, unless I do a real quick, short live. I'd love to hear from you and hear how this has helped you. I'll see you next time.